I want you to imagine this. You used to be a guy who's sharp, agile and athletic, but right now, you catch yourself struggling to climb a few stairs. Your reflection looks worn, and your energy from your body has been drained. That was the exact situation I was in. Fast forward to 6 years ago. I was just a lost kid who didn't know what to do in his life. I was attending the sports classes, going to sleep, going to school, and just doing a bunch of pretty simple activities in my life. And thanks to that, I was kind of feeling and seeing busy. People thinking I'm successful, but inside, no, I was lost. I was literally desperate and trying to find my way out. It feels like there was even no escape. But one day came and literally everything changed for me. I went back to my school, which I didn't like at that time, and I stumbled upon a group of friends. They were talking about some topic which I didn't understand because those group of people are athletes like me. They literally allocated 8 hours of their time to sports, and they talking about cigarettes, which I didn't understand first point. Penny dropped, they smoked their first cigarette, fine, but I wasn't. I literally felt an outcast at this point. They were talking about the dizziness, feeling so much, hyping everything, and I was just standing still there, trying to listen and join to the group, but I couldn't. So I immediately left around them, go to the nearest shopping mall so I could buy one, and I literally felt that dizziness feeling at the same time. I grabbed the last $10 from my pocket, give it to cashier, and finally I received a beautiful thing in my hands. I get out from the place, open, put one, and light it immediately. On the first minutes, was kind of disappointing because I was coughing all the time, it tastes bad, smelled bad, I lost my $10, which was my lunch money, I'm starving, but after that, everything literally changed. My head was constantly turning around. I couldn't believe myself. I was literally feeling numb at this point. But every good thing has an end. The feeling that I told you literally lasts for 30 to 45 seconds. And I immediately lighted another cigarette after that, but that feeling didn't come again. I lighted another cigarette, but no. It only stayed with the first cigarette, which I didn't understand at that point, but that made me hooked, and I smoked wherever I go to make myself sure to get that feeling again. Whether I was in a football match about to practice, or whether I was about to chat with a girl, or even a date, I make myself sure I have the tobacco stick in my hand. Yes, I repulsed a lot of people, but I didn't care. I just want my head to turn around like that again because I need certainty, relaxation, and so many things in my life. And it looks like cigarettes kind of fulfill that desire. I mean, it made me dizzy, relaxed and numb so much so I don't even have to think about my future anymore. I could just like this goddamn thing as much as I want and forget all of my problems. But unfortunately, it caused more problems in my life. Back then I had a girl which I was about to marry at a young age, but she just left me because she didn't want to date or even engage with a guy who smokes. I was smelling pretty bad right now. Although I was using pretty expensive mouthwashes and perfumes, didn't matter. I was literally smelling like a dirt. And the worse than that, I lost my erection as a man, which is pretty shame because I was 17 at this point. I wasn't a 60-year-old who has erectile dysfunction, but I caused myself in that. I've made myself into trouble. I literally stiffened my veins so much because I smoked for what? Dizziness feeling. And I find myself ended up here as a slave and lost everything in my hands as well. I became another toy soldier in the Big Tobacco's plan, and it was too late for me. They literally made me blind to not see all of the damages of cigarettes, and I was consuming this poisonous tobacco stick. Got so many chemicals in my body, didn't know what to do, and I've pretty felt lost in this too. Because at some point I want to quit. I realized what I find myself into, but they portrayed only one way out, which is going through hell. But let me tell you straight after that, that's not an option. There is a second path to go, but there's so many things that they're spreading the propaganda about. There's doctors who literally making articles about smoking is much more addictive than heroin, which is not. There's so many propaganda going around ex-smokers that they saying quitting smoking is hard. No, it's completely false. Tobacco companies could add so many chemicals. They could increase the ammonia, they could increase the tar. Doesn't matter. All I could say and guarantee is you're not actually hooked into smoking. You're actually chasing something else, but we don't realize it because tobacco companies use something as a decoy, and most of the time the decoy is the chemicals, articles, non-smokers and ex-smokers. They literally create so many propaganda about information overload. We kind of get confused and didn't know what to do, didn't know what to listen, didn't know what to say. But that's their exact plan. Otherwise, deep down, even they know cigarettes are not addictive. They perfected their craft for 200 years, but some people could smoke as much as they want, but never get hooked for some reason. But the other population, for somehow gets hooked. Strange, isn't it? That's what happens. The tobacco companies hook you towards to your beliefs. Let that sink in for a second, because the actual thing that you're hooked on is your beliefs. I mean, just observe your mind for a second. Do you think smoking makes you relax? Do you think quitting smoking is painful, or so many thoughts like that? If so, welcome to the game, because that's how they hooked me as well. They brainwashed us by the propaganda they run, and once we light our first cigarette, we were all flooded with emotions. One side of our brain was curious, anxious, worried, but whatever happened, we smoked anyway. And because of that, we have so many attachments to cigarette because of these emotions we felt towards the process. I mean, otherwise, like, observe, there's some other people in your life which smokes in any occasion he wants and just like not get hooked onto this for some reason. But interestingly, we're the ones who fell victim to it because of these emotions we felt towards the first cigarette, and how we continue this attitude in our lives. Because those people doesn't felt any emotion in that, they just light the cigarette like another thing in their lives, like drinking water, and continue like nothing happens. I mean, most of us keep the same attitudes when we light the first cigarette. We're still listening to the same songs when we're smoking, or we're still doing the same activities when we're doing so. That's why we got hooked onto this, and we pretty much see there's no way out except going through hell. But what if I told you it's completely a lie? Because I was hooked into smoking like crazy too. I literally lost all of my teenage years into this, and I could say so confidently I'm never gonna go back to this. I'm smoke free for 4 years, although I smoked for 6 years, constantly 1,000 packs consumed, and I achieved this by the method that I found. So if you want to quit smoking, there's a link in the description to book a call so we can make this reality and you can become a non-smoker. This is I2, and I know you're gonna make it.